Welcome back to the deep dive. In a world where so much interaction is just quick texts, social media scrolls, virtual meetings,
Yeah, it can feel like that
right?
sometimes.
It feels like maybe the real art of, getting to know someone deeply might be fading a bit.
Mm.
So today, we're plunging into a resource that's really designed to help us reclaim exactly that. It's a pretty unique book called 4,000 Questions for Getting to Know Anyone and Everyone, second edition by Barbara Ann Kipfer.
That's right. And look, this isn't just some random list. It's meticulously put together prompts meant to guide conversations.
From small talk all the way up.
Yeah, from super casual stuff to, well, incredibly deep discussions. And the fact it's a second edition, that's actually pretty key.
Why is that?
Because it's been updated. It specifically brings in questions about our modern digitally connected lives.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And the author, Dr. Kipfer, her background is just fascinating. It feels almost like perfectly suited for this kind of project.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
Well, she's a lexicographer, studies words,
Right.
an archaeologist. Plus, she has multiple advanced degrees in things like linguistics, archaeology again, and even Buddhist studies. And she's a senior lexicographer at dictionary.com.
Wow. Okay.
Think about that mix. Someone who digs into word origins, digs into human history, studies different ways of seeing the world.
That's quite the combination. It definitely gives her a unique viewpoint on what makes us tick.
Exactly. And how we can maybe uncover those layers in conversation.
Absolutely. That background isn't just interesting trivia. It really shapes how these questions are put together, the kind of depth they're aiming for.
It's like conversational archaeology.
Huh. Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Conversational archaeology. I like that.
So our mission today is basically to explore just the sheer range of questions in this book,
Okay.
but maybe more importantly, to understand what they tell us about the actual process of connecting with people and maybe even with ourselves.
Right. What can asking these kinds of questions teach you, the listener, about human nature, about building deeper bonds when we're always staring at screens?
You might actually find yourself surprised by how direct some of them are.
Or how revealing?
Definitely. Okay, so let's start digging in. Where do we begin?
Well, the first layer, maybe? Let's look at the intro and the core idea.
Okay, Dr. Kipfer, she really gets right to it in the introduction. She basically asks, in this internet age, have we kind of forgotten how to really talk? How to truly know each other?
A fair question.
Yeah, and she sees this book as like a tool to counteract that sometimes super fang feel of, just texting or quick online interactions.
And she mentions it was fun for her to write.
Yeah, and apparently her own son and his girlfriend used early versions just to connect, which is kind of cool.
So the core idea is really about reclaiming that lost art of conversation.
Exactly.
The book isn't telling you what to say, but it's providing the spark, right?
Yeah.
The ignition.
Yeah, the fodder. And it's positioned for, well, pretty much any situation. Breaking the ice.
Deeper talks with a partner.
Office dynamics, dinner table conversations instead of phones.
Parties, classmates, coworkers, dating. Yeah, pretty much anywhere you'd talk to someone.
And the structure itself, it kind of follows that digging metaphor we mentioned.
Yes, so.
It's organized by topic, like different excavation sites into someone's life. You've got chapters like the latest scoop, childhood and school, family and friends,
Fun and sport, habits, love and sex, outlook.
politics, spirituality, work. I mean, it really does cover the waterfront.
It absolutely does. And what's really relevant for the second edition, like we said, is how it explicitly deals with the digital world.
Right. Okay, so that takes us nicely into the latest scoop section.
Yeah.
This chapter sort of grounds the conversation right in the present.
Yeah, specifically looking at how technology and media are shaping our lives now. It's a very modern starting point. A surface layer, maybe?
Definitely a surface layer that probably wasn't as front and center in the first edition.
Exactly. And it asks some very direct questions about digital habits.
Like what?
Things like, how many people do you follow on Twitter? Who? Or do you get news from social media?
Those aren't just facts, are they? They start to show you someone's information diet, their online world.
For sure. And there are questions about time commitment, too. Like, how much time each day do you spend using social media on the internet?
And preferences, like do you read books in print or electronic format? Simple stuff, but revealing.
And it does get into let's say, the trickier sides of online life. Its permanence, potential dangers.
Like what kind of questions?
Questions like, have you ever put something up on the internet that you later regretted?
Ooh.
Or do you think that things you delete from the internet are really deleted? That's a good one.
It really is.
And it acknowledges online risks directly. Have you ever been cyberbullied? Cyberstalked?
Wow, okay. So doesn't shy away.
Not at all. And then on a more practical level, it asks about the tools we use. What are 5 apps that you need on your cell phone?
Or how we keep up. How do you learn how to use the latest technology? Asking these things right away, it tells you a lot about someone's daily life, their digital comfort zone.
Yeah, it's a good starting point. And then from that sort of immediate modern surface layer, the book encourages us to dig a bit deeper.
Right, moving towards the foundations. Like
Yeah.
childhood and school.
Exactly. This section feels like, well, like that archaeological dig into someone's past we talked about.
Exploring the experiences that sort of laid the groundwork for who they are now.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just, simple facts. It tries to uncover memories, influences.
Give me some examples.
Okay, well, it asks about those formative moments, like who told you about the birds and bees? Or it taps into that universal awkwardness with your most embarrassing moment.
Everyone has one of those.
Totally, and it helps place you in time. What big events happened in the year you were born and who was president?
Oh, interesting. Kind of contextualizes things.
Right, and probes early personality. Would your parents consider you well-behaved or badly behaved?
It also looks for lasting impacts.
Yeah, like what from your childhood proved most valuable? Or early fears? What were you most afraid of?
Even youthful rebellion.
Yep. Did you ever play hooky? And reflections on, paths not taken. What childhood or high school dreams are you now glad never came true?
That's a deep one. And thinking about place, too.
Uh-huh. How has your hometown changed since you were a kid? These questions, they're pretty powerful because they tap into memory, nostalgia.
And often reveal core values or those really formative experiences in a very personal way.
For sure. So after exploring that individual foundation, the book kind of moves outward, naturally, to look at the structures we build around ourselves.
Relationships, basically.
Exactly. The sections on family and friends and also love and sex, these really delve into the ties that connect us, the dynamics of intimacy.
And these chapters seem incredibly detailed, covering everything from immediate family to wider social circles, partners.
Yeah, they explore not just who's in someone's life, but the nature of those connections, the quality.
You see the range, right? From really basic questions like, if you could only make one phone call, whom would you call?
Or which parent are you closest to now? Simple, but potentially revealing.
To prompts that really dig into complex histories, like talk about a family secret or skeleton in the family closet.
Whoa. Okay. Or what is your family's most memorable feud? Yikes.
Right. It also encourages you to think about the definition of these bonds. Describe your relationship with your mother/father/siblings. You get the idea.
Uh-huh. And how we learn from them. What did you learn from your parents? It even looks at those patterns passed down through generations.
Oh, like what patterns have been handed down over generations. That's fascinating.
It is. Then shifting over to friends, it probes their importance. How have friends enriched your life?
And gets into the messy stuff, too. Loyalty, boundaries.
Definitely. Would you stick by a friend even if they hurt you? Or is there a limit to the number of friends a person should have? Interesting question.
Yeah. And then the book moves into that often, let's say, more sensitive territory with love and sex.
Right. This is a really deep dive into dating, partnership, intimacy, how relationships evolve.
So what kind of ground does it cover? First experiences?
Yep. Questions like, how old were you when you first had sex? Or, describe the person to whom you lost your virginity.
Okay, pretty direct.
Very. It also asks for definitions that reveal personal philosophies, like define commitment. What is the scariest thing and the most rewarding thing about commitment?
That forces you to think.
Totally. It explores dynamics within relationships, too.
Yeah.
Do you like to flirt and think that flirting is okay and romantic, and challenges faced? What was the hardest relationship you have ever been in?
And the aftermath of relationship.
Oh, yeah. What was the worst and best thing an ex-lover has ever done to you?
Ouch.
Yeah, but there are lighter moments, too, like how many hugs do you need a day?
I like that one.
Alongside bigger questions about desires, compatibility. Describe your ideal mate.
It even tackles marriage itself.
Uh-huh. What is the point of marriage? And it asks about changing social norms around fidelity. Is fidelity obsolete or coming back?
And then there's probably a really provocative hypothetical in there somewhere.
You guessed it. Would you have an affair if you could definitely get away with it?
Wow.
Oh,
Okay. So taken together, these questions, they really paint a picture of someone's values, their experiences, their expectations when it comes to their most intimate connections.
absolutely. So from those external structures, those relationships, the book then guides us kind of inward.
Exploring the inner landscape.
Yeah, through their habits and their outlook. This is where you uncover like the daily operating system and the underlying philosophy of a person.
Right. It starts with the seemingly mundane stuff, but stuff that's often quite revealing, right? Daily routines.
Exactly. Questions like, do you have a hard time waking up in the morning? Or do you meditate? How often?
Things about personal challenges.
Yep. What do you procrastinate about?
Yeah.
And comfort rituals.
Yeah.
What are your Sunday morning rituals?
It even asks about trying to change. Self-improvement.
Uh-huh. What is one personality trait you have tried hardest to change? And practical things like personal space. Are you fanatically tidy, extremely untidy, or somewhere in between?
Ah, and then some just fun, quirky ones.
Yeah. What things can you do with your eyes closed?
Yeah.
Just little insights. The moving into Outlook, the questions probe deeper. Thoughts, fears, perspective on life.
This is where you get into self-limiting beliefs.
Right. What self-limiting thoughts or fears would you like to overcome? And those fundamental anxieties. What scares you?
It asks how you orient yourself in time, past, present, future.
Yep. Do you live in the moment, dwell on the past, or dream about the future? And hypothetical worries. What is something you wish you never had to worry about again?
Gets into self-perception too, values.
Definitely. Would you rather be known for your intelligence or your personality, or do you usually feel self-confident or not?
Even guilt.
Uh-huh. What makes you feel guilty? Asking about habits and outlook, it just reveals a tremendous amount about someone's day-to-day life and their internal world, their challenges, their hopes.
Okay. The book also spends significant time on what people actually do, their fun and sport, and their work.
Yeah, these areas often reflect passions, values, and just how someone spends a huge chunk of their time and energy.
So these questions uncover identity through like activities and career paths.
Pretty much. For leisure, it's about what you consume, what you prefer, what was the last book you read and why did you choose it, or what movie plot did you find most confusing?
Get specific about interests too, right? Bookstores versus record stores.
Exactly. Would you rather browse through a bookstore or a record store? And enduring tastes. What album have you listened to the most times and why?
Relaxation, creativity.
What hobby makes you feel most relaxed? And some imaginative prompts, too. If you wrote a children's book, what would be your choice of setting and main character?
Fun. Okay, turning to work. Where does it start?
Starts with origins. What was your first real job? And personal judgments about professions. What occupations do you find despicable?
Ooh. And job satisfaction.
Big one. Do you love your work? And future goals. What would your ideal job or career be?
And it probes that work-life balance, the connection to identity.
Yes. Would you leave your job if your significant other got relocated? And that really potent question. How much is your personal identity and self-worth determined by your job and your success at it?
Wow. Yeah. Our leisure lives, our work lives, they're often so deeply tied to our sense of self. These questions seem like keys to understanding that connection.
For sure. Now, the book also, it doesn't shy away from the deepest layers and potentially the most sensitive ones.
Politics and spirituality.
Exactly. And it's really crucial here to understand the book presents these questions for discussion. It's not pushing any viewpoint.
Right. The value isn't in the answer itself, maybe,
Yeah.
but in the chance to understand someone else's perspective on these really fundamental parts of life.
Precisely. So the politics section, it covers a really wide spectrum of issues, encouraging talk about deeply held beliefs on society, governance,
What kind of things?
things like, do you think there should be term limits for all public offices? Or it prompts discussion on specific policy debates like, should people with mental health issues be allowed to own guns?
Okay. Or should banks be bailed out in future financial crises? Stuff like that.
Exactly. It touches on civil liberties. Is it constitutional for the government to spy on American citizens?
Yeah.
And social issues that have big political dimensions. Should gay couples have the right to marry?
How do you feel about guns? That kind of thing.
Yep. It looks at the role of government. Should the government do more or less to solve our country's problems? And how people label themselves. Are you a Republican, Democrat, or independent?
So it really covers the gamut. Then spirituality.
Yeah. This section explores beliefs about faith, the divine meaning, existence. It asks things like, do you believe there is a God who cares?
Or do you believe in miracles?
Right. And it gives prompts for talking about doubt. Have you ever doubted there was a God? Views on the afterlife. What is your expectancy of going to heaven?
How faith intersects with relationships.
Uh-huh. Would you marry someone with different religious beliefs? Would you marry someone who is atheist or agnostic?
And those really big, profound hypotheticals.
Oh, yeah. Like, if you could ask God one question, what would it be? That always gets people thinking.
That.
It delves into beliefs about the nature of life, the supernatural. Do you believe humans have souls? Animals have souls? Angels? The devil or demons?
Wow. And finally, core philosophies about agency, like destiny versus choice.
Exactly. Do you believe in destiny or choice? These questions, look, they might be challenging, right?
Definitely.
But they unlock a person's most fundamental worldview, their values, which is pretty essential if you really want to know them fully.
So looking back at the sheer scale, 4,000 questions across all these different areas,
Yeah.
it's clearly more than just a party game, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a really systematic approach to uncovering the layers of who someone is. Dr. Kipfer's background, from lexicography digging into meaning to archaeology revealing history layer by layer.
You can really see that influence in the structure and the depth here.
You really can. The book provides the prompts, the tools, but the real magic, it happens in the asking and the answering.
It's a catalyst for conversation, a structured way to move past the surface level.
And explore the foundation, the relationships, the inner workings, the core beliefs that make each person, well, unique.
So what does this mean for you, the listener, listening right now? How could you actually use something like this?
Yeah, it's not just about having a list, is it? It's about understanding why asking these kinds of questions is valuable in the first place.
You could maybe pick a section to explore with a friend,
Or use them for journaling, self-reflection.
even use them as interview prompts, maybe.
Sure. The value isn't just in gathering information, collecting facts. It's about building empathy, understanding through that shared exploration.
Asking thoughtful, varied questions.
Yeah.
It feels like a shortcut, yeah, but not just to facts.
Right. It's a shortcut to deeper connection, insight into the human experience.
This has been a really fascinating deep dive into just the power of questions as a tool for connection.
It really has.
Thank you for joining us for this exploration today.
And as you think about the people in your own life, or maybe even your own journey of self-discovery, here's maybe a final thought for you to consider. It draws on that incredible breadth of topics Dr. Kipfer covers.
Okay.
Thinking about all those areas we touched on, childhood, habits, politics, spirituality, love, which of those layers of questions do you personally think reveals the absolute most about a person's true character?
That's a tough one. Something to think about. Keep asking questions, keep exploring those depths.